Hi, good afternoon. I've been driving for approximately an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, and that also included a ferry journey. This afternoon, on what is turning out to be a fabulous day, we are going to walk the West Island Way. Today, we're on the Island of Bute. So just winding my way south now and heading towards a lighthouse. I'm not sure how many miles I have to cover before I get there, but it's quite an iconic spot on the route. Not too sure what the plan is. I'm going to be trying to get maybe 12-15 miles done this afternoon and into this evening. Don't know where I'm going to camp just yet, but we'll see how it goes. And then the idea is to finish the route off tomorrow and see if I can catch a bus back down to Kilchatham Bay where I parked the car. So onwards we march. I shall get some try get some scenery and give you, subscriber, a taste of what is in store. Nice here, isn't it? There's quite a bit of this this sort of like pathway through the coastline, and I don't mind it. It makes it interesting. Look at this. I mean, this is, it's pretty good, isn't it? Can't complain. It's early days, like. I think when my feet are falling off at the end of this, it might be a different it may be a different story. Anyway, we'll crack on a little further. We're going up. Obviously I've seen better views than this somewhere. Fabulous, look at that. Could be Yorkshire Dales, but for all watty rounders. The Parish of King Garf, St Blaine's Church. By the 11th century, the Norse settlers on Butte, whose ancestors had destroyed St. Blaine's monastery, had themselves become Christians. By 1200 AD, however, Alan Fitzwalter, the High Steward of Scotland, was holding Butte, and in 1204 he issued a charter granting to the monks of Paisley Abbey, the Church of King Garf, with the lands formally marked out for it by St. Blaine himself, and all the chapels and the whole parish of the island. Interesting stuff. Hello, Coo. How are you, Coo? Are you well? Obviously deaf. Right. So this is, I've come from basically behind that hill and walked behind that hill line. There's a small glen with a farm in it. Very agricultural. That's where the nosy cow was, just behind there. Nosy cow. And then come all the way down this fence line here. And then all the way up this climb here, and then I'm going to head up through there. So after crossing over that pasture land on the top, you take a very severe drop down through woodland, and it's a lovely change in scenery, to be honest. But what it does is it drops you back down into Kilchatton Bay, and I reckon I'm walking behind these houses now, and that my car is just parked in front of them. So this is it. So you're walking like 4.5 miles, and if you're parking at Kilchatton, then you've got to deal with the fact that you've actually got nowhere at all. Heading out of Kilchatton now and through woodland. You can just see we're back at the coast there. Going well now. I haven't done that for a while. I was just thinking, whilst fooling around on that rope, if you wanted to, if you parked up at Kilchatton Bay like I have, you could actually leave your backpack. If you're going to camp like I am, you could leave your backpack in the boot of your car, or for my international follower, the trunk. You could do the 5-mile loop at the bottom of the island, hop back down to your car, shoulder your pack, fresh legged and all, and it just don't make sense to carry your pack all the way around a 5-mile loop when you don't need to. Maybe I'll do that next time. Great place to camp there. Absolutely perfect. You've even got a picnic table. Right, just found myself on the golf course. Be rude not to have a look, wouldn't it? This is Butte golf course. Nice clean flags. 1888. Wonder if that's the yardage. It's not bad. Greens are okay. You can just see how dry it is though. I mean, we've had a reasonable amount of rain, you know, but they're not bad. They could do with a cut. Lovely course lined hole. Very nice too. Well done, Butte Golf Club greenkeepers, or greenkeeper. Anyway, best get off. And really starting to see some fantastic views of Arran now. Let you have a look. But heading back inland now and towards Rothsay. I'm aiming for around about, I think any more than 10 miles will do me, really. The time is 6:45, so there's plenty of light. I think the day's catching up on me now, obviously been up since just after 4:30 this morning. And I'm being in work, so I shall soldier on. I'll tell you what I haven't seen much of, and that's water, and I'm going to need some before I find camp, so I need to keep my eyes peeled and see if I can top up my bladder, not my bladder, my water bladder before camp. And hopefully it won't be too long before we find that. Schoolag and Bergedale. It used to be a trig point. Oh, a bench. By gum, it's grand to get this pack off and these boots for a few minutes. Look at these here, look. Hey? Feet are waving at you. Rothsay. 4 miles to Rothsay. Ah. Exploring Butte and the West Island Way. So, let me get rid of a stick. So I started there at Kilchatton Bay. That's where I parked my car, and then I went all the way around that green line there. Can you see this? All the way, and that was the lovely views of that bay. And then came back inland. And you can see how close I was to the car. I mean, if I had parked the car a little bit further down here, I could have left my bag in the boot, popped down, picked it up anyway there. So there was roughly about where that swing was, which was great fun. And then I walked over through the golf course, and then I got lost a little bit on that beach, and that's where the caravans were. Climbed up onto the road, a little bit of road walking, up that track. Past the house, and then on there, and then around that trig point was round about there, wasn't it? Somewhere like that. And then I come back down across there, and I think I'm about there now on that junction where it says New Farm. So I'm going to walk all the way up here, which is a couple of miles. There's Rosser and there's Loch Ascog. So I'm going to see if I can get myself camped somewhere near Loch Ascog, because plenty of water. There's a wood there, look, so I might be able to get tucked in there. Right, enough of this, 2 miles, let's go. Quarter to 8 at night. 3 miles to Rosser. So that's where we're heading. I've just found a nice little spot here. You can see it's surrounded by gorse. It's probably around about 30 metres away from the track. So it's offering me a bit of protection because there's a fair bit of wind kicking about. Now the ground's not perfect. It's quite long grass, but it's not really lumpy. I think by the time I get everything down, it'll flatten out quite nice and will offer quite a comfortable sleep, I think. There's just enough breeze to keep the midges away and condensation down, and it's 10 past 8. I've had enough. We're set up. Right, I'm going to get these boots off and get some food on, and then we can have a chat about today. Okay, welcome back. I've got some pasta bolognese on from Decathlon, which I do like. I think they're very, very tasty. So that's currently cooking at the moment. I boiled a full pot of water up, brought it right up to the boil, because even though I put a filter tablet in that water, I just bring it to a boil as well. What's left in the cup which boiled, I'll just decant into my water bottle, and then that'll be good to drink later. Talking of drink, a little bit of rouge to celebrate the day. Right, I'm going to have something to eat, and then we can talk stats later. I am replete. So 11 miles, just over 11 miles. Just for atmospheric effect, you do understand that, but if you watch so far, thank you very much, and I shall see you bright and early in the morning, and then we'll do that other 17 miles. See you soon. Morning. Just packed the tent up and on my way now. Had some breakfast. It's just before 6 o'clock in the morning. Overcast but dry. There was some rain in the night, but the tent was dry this morning with the wind. I slept pretty good. Just a bit of a sore right hip. I think I just did one of those little tussocks just on that side. So anyway, I'll walk that off. Feel pretty good. So around about 17 or 18 miles to cover today. So without further ado, let's get on. Just walking above Loch Ascog now, which is there. I got some water, but there's some new houses being built there, and there's nobody in them. Just a quick scout round. There's a tap on every house. So I topped up some water, which is good. I can't stop my eyes from streaming. Proper old man stuff this morning. Anyway, I don't know how far I'm in. Probably half a mile now, and just listening to what my body's having to say, and it's okay. It's okay. Everything's in a good place this morning so far, which all bodes well. I think if my knee was going to give me trouble, it would be aching now, it would be in pain now, but it's okay. So all bodes well. Just heading above Rossina, probably around about 2 miles in the distance, so if there's anything to see, we'll let you have a look. Welcome to Loch Fad. I've been walking on tarmac now since leaving Loch Fad, which is quiet. There's only one car. Could you see the outskirts of Rossi there? We're not far off. I think we're probably another few hundred yards of tarmac and then hopefully back onto track. Just skirting above town now. Rossi on a very early Saturday morning. Not sure what this building once was home to. Back on the road again. I'm enjoying this West Island way so much. I actually thought I'd put another mile on it, so I took a wrong turning back there. Signposted left, so I turned left and found myself stuck in a young tree plantation surrounded by a deer fence. Anyway, I'd walked about 3/4 of a mile following a route, and it wasn't the right route, so I ended up climbing over a deer fence, which, to be honest, it looked like many people before me had a go at that as well. And back on track now with the Prehistoric Forest here. Anyway, not doing too bad. Over 5 miles into day 2 now, and so far it's been okay. It was nice down by that fishery lock. I can't remember what its name was. And then outskirts of Ross, there were a lot of tarmac. It was pretty unremarkable really. Quite a lot of road walking. But then back on these tracks, there's lots and lots of gates. It should be called the West Island Gateway. Many gates. I think it's probably because of the amount of pasture land and cattle and sheep and whatnot. Very fertile island. Anyway, going well. Just above Port Valentine now, which is actually the finishing point for the West Island Way. It also acts as a good bailout point. Again, you know, if anything's going wrong, either health-wise or the weather turns bad, so you just drop down there. So I was camped around about here above Loch Ascog, and this morning I followed all the way down there past Loch Fad where the fisheries are, through the woodland, round the back of Rothsay, and it wasn't spectacular there wasn't a great deal going on, to be honest, but it was early in the morning, so that wasn't too bad. Walked along here, and I think it was round about, oh yeah, Kames Hill Plantation here, that's where I got lost. So that's where the sign was a little bit confusing. Continued all the way along here. So this is a Port Valentine, that's where it finishes, and so you've got a bail out there. It's very, very, very tempting. There's a lot of roads, a lot of tarmac, all the way down here, down the footpath. So you go from east to west, down to Ettrick Bay. Oh, there's a tea room there, look. Gosh, that is tempting. That's not too far away from here. And then I take this route up here. So basically I'm on this northerly loop now. I'm looking at this one, I'm not too sure how good that going is. I've actually got that plotted in, but it's very up and down. Quite a few people pop down here and take the road in, but that's not a pleasant route, and I can't make my mind up about that. A little bit of rain kicking about now. It's only a shower, I don't think it needs waterproofs. It looks like it's just a single track road right to the northerly point, which it's fine, I suppose. It's one of those where you just put your head down and do some mile munching. It's a very, very green working island. It's very quiet. You know, if this was Arran or Mull or something like that, there'd be motorhomes and cars and Lord knows what else. But there's nothing. It's very, very quiet. I don't suppose it offers as much as those other more popular islands. It's still pretty nonetheless. Anyway, we are getting there steadily. I think this rain's going to pass. I was looking on the map and I could see this burn getting closer to the trail, and this is the spot that was made famous by Hounds of Howgate. He actually camped here that night. I think it was a wet and windy night, and it's a fantastic little spot. It really is. I think that's where it's a perfect little pitch, isn't it? Just on that little knoll. Anyway, so I've just stopped for a bit. I've topped up my water bottle, which is brilliant, so I'm going to be good now for the last few miles. I'm just cooling my feet down. We're in a good place. If there weren't so many beasties kicking around, I'd probably have a nap, but there's quite a few. I think I just heard voices then. Anyway, I shall put my boots back on and then we'll continue north. Fantastic little spot. Just perfect. Island of Bute. So according to this, Duncan McIntyre and his wife Mary lived here. They had 7 kids. What a place to live. Crikey. Anyway, onwards and northwards. Climbed out of the glen now and heading through very, very cool pine forests. Very nice. It's to say we're going through a very dry spell, certainly here on this island anyway. There's still some pretty wet patches around, which would only lead to the conclusion that I wouldn't want to do, certainly wouldn't want to do this northern loop in winter. It must be pretty grim. Ugh. So there we are at the north end of the island now. So in theory it's all downhill. Now, 2 choices here. I can either continue cross country back to the marina, or I can take the road. My feet are a little bit weary, so I would opt for the road, but that's going to be very, very dull. Whereas the cross-country one is very up, very down. It's going to move much slower. So I've got a short walk down this forestry track in which to make my mind. I will inform you once that's been done. There's flies all over my camera. Right, I've chosen my route. I'm going to stick to the proper route, and I'm already starting to climb. I hope I don't regret this. Ooh. I've probably got 4 miles, maybe a bit more to do, but I think this is very much up and down, so it's going to take a fair bit of sorting out, but it's got to be better than walking whatever it is 5 miles along the road. That'd be just rubbish. Plus way too tempting to jump on a bus, so we shall march on. I'll see you at the top. Change of socks, change of mindset. 1 mile later, and I've managed to scale what has to be one of the most dullest forestry tracks I've ever been on, and I've been on a few. By gum. Anyway, I have a couple of questions which I've been pondering for the last mile. The first question is, are flies transient? By what I mean is that I've been sort of like, I've had 2 flies buzzing around my head now for 5 miles at least, and at some point they're going to leave me, and I just wonder if that just becomes their new home, you know. Do they worry about the flies that they've left behind, or do they try and make their way back? I don't know. One for you. Second question. Is it negative to think of it as one less mile to do rather than one more mile done? Anyway, there's a small bridge up ahead, so it looks like the landscape is finally going to change a little. Goodbye, forestry track. Hello, pine woodland. This is more like it, isn't it? Beautiful. I think I've lost my flies. Can't even speak. Quite a climb since coming out of the woodland, but we're getting. It's interesting. We've got good views. It's hard going, particularly at the end of this walk. But far more interesting than it would have been going down that road. Clearly, it's going to take longer. Anyway, I had a bit of a break back there and changed my socks and changed my mindset, and it works. It's a fresh pair of socks, you know. My feet are a little bit sore. I'm not too sure I've done this level of distance with a full pack on before. I think furthest I've done with a full pack is around about 12 or 13 miles. I think I will be round about 16 or 17 at the moment with all these ups and downs and the likes. Anywho, it's another mile done. Right, I think I can finally say I'm at the highest point of the West Island Way. I shall now share the views. Good news now, all downhill, or should be. I can actually see the finish now, Port Valentine, probably 1.5 miles away, something like that. So not too far to go now. Nice strong finish to the trail with these views. I certainly would not do this in winter. I mean, this north end is obviously, you got the monotony of the forestry tracks, but once you're up onto this up on the hills, there's some proper swamps, and I mean they're soaking now. I took a couple of them. It's very difficult to cross, so Lord knows what they're like when it's been very wet, or is very wet. Bit of a top tip there for you. Right, I'm going to continue down here and we'll pick this up a little bit closer to the finish. I'm back at Kilchatton Bay now, and I actually got to the Port Valentine, and as I was just about to walk into town, the bus was there. It was ready to go, so rather than dip my stick into the water, I thought I would actually just dive straight on the bus, which was a good choice. So I've got myself back down to Kilchatton Bay. I've thrown my bag into the car. Thoroughly enjoyed the walk. Been tough on my feet, Mixed terrain, which makes it interesting. You know, there are some trails out there which are all pretty much samey. So from that perspective, it was good. There's some absolute, you know, beautiful views, absolutely fantastic views. And then, like most trails, you know, you've got some pretty boring stuff as well, like those log tracks. They just do me head in. A little bit too much road walking as well, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Weather was brilliant, the camp spot was good, managed to get enough water, which was fantastic as well. So that was the West Island Way, done and dusted. Time for me to jump in the car now, get on that ferry and get home and have a well-earned beer. Hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.